I'm gonna just talk through this Yeush lo midat sugya to make sure you've got it clear. You need to have your worksheet in front of you and make sure you're filling in the text, and we'll be dealing with the questions as well. So the question is about Yeush shelo midat. Yeush, giving up hope, therefore giving up ownership. Shelo midat, I don't yet know, I haven't noticed that it's gone. Right? I put it down somewhere and forgot about it. It dropped out of my bag. For some reason, I haven't noticed yet that it's gone. Now, it begins with our source, Itmar, a memra. The source has the case, in this case the concept, doing Yeush when I haven't yet noticed, and then two rulings. Abai says, this doesn't count as Yeush, it isn't Yeush. And Rava says, it is Yeush. Abai is basically saying, there can't be any such thing as Yeush when you haven't yet noticed. And Rava says, there is. Remember, the implied assumption here is that Yeush is a necessary prerequisite for the finder keeping it. The owner must give up ownership over it in order for it to be okay for the finder to take ownership. Now, the rest of this is the Gemara clarifying and discussing this machloket. The first thing they do is they clarify what case they're talking about. B'davar sheyesh bo siman, something that has a siman, kule alma lo plige. Kule alma kol ha'olam, everyone, but in this case, the two guys involved, Abai and Rava, lo plige. They agree that there's no Yeush. They both agree that if it has a sign, I can't keep it. This is kind of obvious, since the whole point of saying it has a sign is that, or part of the point is, the owner has reason to think that he'll be able to get it back, and therefore will presumably make the effort to look for it, and Davka not do Yeush. So, if he's not going to do Yeush when he realizes it's gone, he will retain some belief that he can get it back, then certainly I can't imagine that he's done Yeush when he doesn't yet realize. Because Yeush is not about saying he's not currently looking for it. It's about saying he has no hope of ever getting it back. It's not about that case. Ki plige, ki, not just because, ki can mean if or when. Here, when. When do they disagree? In what case? B'davar she'ein bo siman. So, I think something has no siman, that's where they disagree. Now, according to Mishnayot, if it doesn't have tovim, simanim, and tovim, I should be able to keep it, right? No sign, it's mine. But this brings up a whole new problem. If Yeush is required, what if the owner doesn't know it's missing? So now, with this, the first thing we've done is limited it, saying the discussion is only about something that, when he realizes it's gone, he will presumably give it up, do Yeush, because it has no sign. He thinks there's no chance. He thinks there's no chance of getting it back. So now, Abaye says, Abaye amar lo havi Yeush. Those are the words from the original source, right? He does not know it fell. He cannot do Yeush. Yeush is an action. He cannot do it until he knows that it's missing. And if he hasn't done it, I can't take it. Simple, straightforward. Rava says, it is Yeush. Why? So again, these words are the quote from, are just the same words from the original source. And here the Gemara explains. Why? Because when will future tense realize that it fell, here Rav is imagining, right, it fell from his bag or his pocket or his wagon. You could easily sort of imagine he put it down on a bench and then, forgot about it and walked away. But when he does notice that it's gone, he will certainly do Yeush. So, since it definitely will happen as soon as he notices, I can treat it as if it's already happened, so I can take it. Now this seems like a little bit of sort of playing logical games. Since I know it's going to happen, I can imagine that it's already happened. You kind of go, The core idea is reasonable. You own it. I can only take it if you've given it up. Now, logically, Abai is much clearer and simpler. Yeush is an action. Either you've done it or you haven't. And if you don't know, you can't have done it. Period. But there's an obvious problem. And this is a problem we've been dealing with since the beginning, which is whether or not I can keep this, an object that I find, depends in large part on assumptions about the owner's attitude towards the object. How much the owner cares about it, or values it, how much effort the owner is willing to go to recover it, how far away the owner is, how hard it would be for him to come and get it. But the problem is the finder doesn't know who owns it, by definition, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be even having this conversation. If I don't know who owns it, I don't know how the owner feels about it, and certainly I don't know whether the owner has yet noticed that it's gone. So Abai's logic is very reasonable, but for him, can I ever keep something I found? How would I ever be confident that, he definitely noticed it? Maybe he's definitely noticed it if it's important enough that he'll definitely notice, right? Jordan's credit cards are things that he'll notice they're missing. But if they're important enough that he'll definitely notice it, he'll probably come looking for it. So then it seems like maybe there's no category where I can just keep it. But the mission is clear that there are at least some situations where I can keep it. So Rava keeps the idea of Yeush as being needed, but he reverts to the mission's idea. I decide what to do based on the information that I have. If I can assume that he will do Yeush when he notices, I can act as if he's done it already, because since I have no way of knowing whether he's done it, whether he's noticed already, whether he's about to notice now, whether he's going to notice later, whether he's never going to notice, since I can't know that, I act based on my assumptions. I assume that he's noticed and done it already, or it doesn't make any difference whether he's noticed it now already or will notice it later. I act as if Yeush has already happened. And that which enables me to the finder to act based on the information that I have, unless I have some magic app that will notify me as soon as he's noticed. Which, if you have that, you should start selling it on iTunes. Okay.